So yeah, so hi student. Today we are going to learn about chapter 8.2 regarding atom and nucleus. So what is atom? So when we talk about atom, there is a lot of meaning when we are referring to atom. Some will say that it means indivisible, means you cannot cut anymore. Last time people they like to learn and they like to think. So they cut the thing, cut. So they just think like, if I take this pen and I cut it, cut until very small, until so small that I cannot cut anymore. So they call this as atom, because there is as a kid I always think that if you got power lah, you can always cut it to small and small and small and small also can cut some more. And then if you got infinity power, you can cut until infinity, because it is infinity small, correct or not? If you got see the Ant-Man, you can become infinity small or infinity big like the universe, or infinity small until atom, like a size of atom, but smaller than atom is quartz. And after the quartz, people still don't know what is inside the quartz, because lah, human like to study what is the inside, small thing and small and small some more. So now we study until atom. Inside atom got quartz, but that is so far that we know. Maybe in the future we are going to know what is inside the quartz. So atom and originated from the word atomos, we mean indivisible. In 1808, John Dalton introduced a theory called a structure of atom. According to Dalton atomic theory, atom is the smallest particle that cannot be divided further. So Dalton said that after 1808, he learned that atom means the smaller particle and you cannot cut it already, you cannot divide it further. And last time people only see until atom. After that they see even smaller, for example like proton, electron and neutron. So these are the things. And after that people will nowadays today people even can see what is inside electron, proton and neutron. That's what they call it quartz. And there's a lot of few things that he say wrong. See here or not? But your book didn't say. But few things that he say wrong. I don't really want to say that he say wrong, but it's true to certain extent, because nowadays atom can be divided already. That's why they use nuclear bomb. Nuclear bomb means when the particle from uranium divided to another two atom. I forgot the name already. So not mostly atom cannot be divided. Mostly atom, except for the nuclear fission, that we can see that atom can be one atom become two, which release a lot amount of heat. And people also complain that, not people complain now, because people now are smarter so they got new technology. This picture also, nowadays people don't really accept this picture, because I see here down got or not, here also don't have. This picture now they changed already, because people thought that the atom, the electron is actually moving according to the orbit. But eventually when they study, they found out that actually electron move in a cloud. In a cloud that it will appear in the random chances of, it will appear around like a cloud, not like a must follow this line. They will just simply move around. But there is a tendency to go near to this place rather than far. There's a tendency of the electron to appear near to the atom rather than far. So we can predict the electron movement, but not like an orbit, like a Earth orbit. So these are the few things. But in terms of science, we are thankful for John Newton, because Dalton, because we learn many things from him. Okay, so what he found out? So in the Form 1 textbook, in figure 8.7, we found out that there are 3 subatomic particles in an atom. So when we are talking about particle, what does it mean by particle? Because sometimes students confuse. So what does it mean by particle? So in science that we learn, we always see that the word particle will appear. Actually, the meaning of particle in easy term lah, there are a few definitions, but let's make it easy. What is the definition of a particle? Particle means a small thing, very small thing, and we call it particle. So when we are talking about particle, it means small thing like this one. Something like this, usually we call it particle, because like atom, we call it particle. So when science, when they are talking about particle, usually they are talking about, I didn't say every time, sometimes they are talking about atom. Sometimes they are talking about subatomic atom like proton, neutron, and electron. And sometimes they are talking about maybe a molecule. Maybe they are talking about element. Maybe they are talking about a compound. So many things that the word particle can use. So in case that in the science they ask, particle means small little things. Like I say, there's an air particle, but air particle is actually a very large definition. Air particle means a lot of things. Water molecule particle, I can say the atom particle, I can say subatomic particle, I can say the iron particle. So particle means round small thing. So when they are talking about particle, we don't know what they are talking about, but we know what they are talking about because they got say the word 3 subatomic. So 3 subatomic, we know that 3 so we roughly agak-agak we know that you are talking about 3 small round thing in an atom. So what are the 3 small round thing in an atom? So we learned that from this picture, 3 small round thing in atom is proton, neutron, and electron. This one you need to know. Okay, proton is the positively charged. Neutron is the neutral lah. Neutron from the word neutral, so 0 charge. And electron is actually the negative charge, and this whole thing will make up a nucleus. So proton, it will depending on the number of proton. So we got proton number 1 proton, 2 proton, 3 proton, 4 proton, 5, 6, 7, and so on, and blah until 200. We know that for example 12 proton is carbon. I think oxygen is 16 proton, something like that lah. Oxygen, and we so on. So by different number of proton, we actually determine the element of the thing. So we cannot cut it. That's why I say not all atom can cut, because if we can cut, then you can even make gold, because I forget the proton number for gold. So as long as I take out 1 proton or I put 1 proton and I make the number equivalent to XX number equals to gold, then I can get gold. After I get gold, I become rich. Yes, but you cannot do that. It's impossible to take out proton or put in proton. It is, except for nuclear, some elements, something that you can do, but so far with nowadays technology, we cannot change the proton number. That's why it's always in a debate. In a debate where people will say, you want to buy gold or not? And some people say, I don't want to buy gold because one day in the future people can maybe change the proton number and make gold, but I think impossible lah. But I don't know. Nowadays a lot of people say impossible go to the moon, go to the star, but one day people also go. So is it possible to make gold? I'm really not sure. But I think the next 1,000 years also no lah. Not. I don't think so. Okay. Formative of positive ion and negative ion. When an atom loses or gains electron, an atom becomes charged with an ion. Okay, so they are charged with an ion. What do you mean by they are charged with ion? Example, we have example. Okay, for example, sodium is 0. This one, sodium is 1. What do you mean by positive ion? Positive ion, when we say positive means, let's see, I see down here got negative or not. Positive ion means positive more than negative, correct or not? Because we know in science, positive ion usually why is it positive? Because positive more than negative. Or I will say that, for example, 2 plus negative 1. 2 is positive, 1 is negative 1, so you get 1. So positive more than negative. Or another definition I want to state here is easier definition is whenever proton more than electron. Correct or not? Because positive is proton, negative is electron. So when proton more than electron, it causes something be positive. But of course, we also say that when you lose electron, I mean it's the same thing. We all actually is the same. But when you lose electron, because we look at let's say we look at proton 11. So these are the same. So they is 0 charge. But when it loses electron, we can see proton more than electron, because proton is 11 and electron is 10. So proton more than 10. So this one will be positively charged. Positively charged. Because proton more than electron. Why? Because the sodium loses its electron. Okay, sodium is also an element. So when we are looking at this picture, you might think yourself, what this one 11, 12 means what lah? What is this? This one actually mean this one. Mean this one. Because you see here, proton, electron, neutron. So it actually means the structure that we see. So a proton, if I can draw out, I will draw proton 11. Maybe I use blue to draw the proton. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then I draw the neutron. I use green 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then I draw the electron, I use red. 12 for neutron. Electron is 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Something like that, okay? So this whole thing is actually one atom. Okay, this whole thing is actually the one atom. Of course, I can draw I don't need to draw because it will take my time. But here also means one atom. The difference is one is positive, one is negative. The difference is why? Because one of the electron loses. This one go away already, run away, loses electron, go away already. Okay, we maybe borrow other people, give other people, and of course he can take back. Okay, when he give, he can take back. But we are not going to that topic first. We study until here. For example, maybe we study a bit lah, because we know that this is sodium, Na is positive ion, and Cl is negative. This one we learn. This one NaCl, sodium chloride, is also the salt that we eat. The salt that we go and cook is actually made out of sodium chloride. And Ajinomoto also this one. You see the Ajinomoto name is called monosodium glutamate, also Ajinomoto. That's why Ajinomoto is a salt. After you eat a lot, also you loses your hair. I'm also getting old, losing a lot of hair due to eating Maggi mee. Another word we call it cation. So there are a few names. We either call it positive ion, or we call it cation, or we call it maybe positively charged ion, anything like something like that. Okay, negative is the same, so I don't want to spend too much time in talking about the negative. You see here 17 is the same, but here 18 17 means what? Electron more than proton, negative more than positive. When negative more than positive, it means this is negatively charged. Negatively charged. Why? Because people gain one electron. Some people give me. So in science, we learn that electron can always give me electron, but proton number cannot. So that is why the element always remain the same. Gold always remain gold. Water, hydrogen will always remain hydrogen. Oxygen will always remain oxygen, because you can give the electron, but you cannot give the proton. If you can give proton, means you become new breakthrough in science. Then you can do. People will learn from you if you can cut the proton give you. Okay, so this is negatively charged. So we also can see that this is Cl, for example. Cl means negatively charged chlorine. That's why we say it NaCl. The reason is Na say I don't want one electron, now you take. Cl say okay, I want to take. So they married. So when they married, then we got sodium chloride, we got salt. And for example, we also got, for example, H2O. Why H2O? Why not H3O? Why not H11O? But why must H2O? Because actually, if you see the charge, hydrogen is actually positive 1. And oxygen is negative 2. So oxygen say I want 2 electron. Hydrogen say I only got 1. But never mind lah, I make 2 lah. Because I find 2 people give you 1 electron, means it's 2 electron, and you want 2 electron, then we together, married. Wow, this one is what? So after that married, then you can see that it become H2O. And we seldom see H3O, H4O. Maybe some event got, that one is special lah, but naturally it's H2O, because I give you 2, you take 2. We also don't see the equation like H2H2, which it doesn't really make sense. We got see hydrogen H2 lah. This one is not. This one we don't learn lah. If I learn this, then I explain 1 more hour again. This is called covalent bond. This is ionic bond. So the whole chapter we are learning is actually ionic bond. This is covalent bond, which I don't want to teach. Teach then it become another 1 hour, and the exam also is not coming out. Yeah. So what you need to know is why positive, proton more than electron. Why negative, electron more than proton. Why electron more than proton? Because you gain electron. Why proton more than electron? Because you lose electron. Something like that, right? You don't say lose proton. That is the thing that you need to remember. Sometimes the question will give you like they will maybe give you like this lah. I don't know the question. Maybe they give you this one, x. Find what is x, then you do, you get x. Maybe the question do this, y. Find what is y, yeah, you do, you roughly you will get the y. Oh, as I'm saying, I think, oh no, the question it didn't ask here also. Okay, let's look at question number 1 and state the property of an atom according to Dalton atomic theory. So the answer will be here, according to Dalton atomic theory, an atom, I use this one highlight lah. An atom is the smallest particle and cannot be divided further. You cannot cut already. But that's why in science they say according to Dalton. They don't say atom means blah 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 blah. They say according to Dalton, because nowadays people don't accept this definition, because some atom can be divided. Unless you say that atom is the smaller particle, but some atom can be divided, something like that. But now also not the smallest particle we also found got electron, proton and neutron. So some people disagree with him. Not that he is but scientists like him because he helped a lot. not he say wrong then people don't like him, but people like him because he contribute a lot in terms for the science. Explain how the following ions are formed. So you look at the question. The question didn't ask what is negative, what is positive ion. The question say that what make it positive ion and negative ion. Very good. Okay, I hope that you can got the answer, and very good, you got the correct answer. Positive ion means what? Positive ion is when an atom loses an electron. So positive ion is an atom when atom loses electron. Negative ion is when the atom gain electron. Very simple. As the exam asks, I hope you get this correct because it's straightforward. Okay, you don't even memorize it because it's negative. Negative means people give you negative. Why positive? Because you donate electron. Okay. The next question, table 1 show the numbers of proton and of electron of particle P, Q, R, and S and T. Let's look at this one. P, Q, R, S, and T. Proton number 4, 10, 17, 29, 35. 4, 10, 18, 27. So when you look at this, roughly you need to know. Even you don't read the question, you need to study the question. You need to study this table for the question. So we know that. Let's do this one. This is neutral, correct or not? This is neutral. This one is what? Positive, negative, or neutral? Very good. This is positive, because we see proton more than neutron. This one positive, negative, or neutral? For R.
Negative.
This one is negative. So I just write here first. How about this one? S? S is positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. Very good. How about T?
Negative.
Negative. Very good. So we know that because if electron more than proton is negative, proton more than electron is positive, and if it's same then it's neutral. Okay, so which particle is positive ion? Explain your answer. So which one is positive ion? So positive is this one and this one. Q and S is the positive ion. Q and S. Explain your answer. I don't want to write down, not necessary, because proton number more than electron number of electron. Okay or not? Number of proton more than number of electron. You like lah You like. You also can say the subatomic atom of proton more than subatomic atom of electron, or the protons, the quantity of proton more than quantity of electron. It is the same, but I think easy lah, easy for student and the marking scheme, just follow this one, because number of proton more than number of electron. What does this mean? Number of proton means the number of proton lah. The atom got how many proton lah, okay? So it is the number of the proton in the atom, okay? That's why they say number of the proton. They don't say proton because it will be weird if I form the language like proton more than electron. So when you are talking proton more than electron is whose proton? Who proton? Proton who? Proton in the wall or proton in my air or proton? So it is still correct, but the how to say the meaning in the sentence is lesser. Because when we talk about number of proton, it's the number of proton in one atom, so it carry more meaning. You also can say proton more than neutron and electron, but more broad lah the meaning. But usually I think the teacher will give correct, okay? Usually the teacher will give correct. Let's look at the next question. Which particle is negative ion? Explain your answer. So we see that negative ion is this one and this one. So it will be R and T. So why R and T? Because the number of electron more than number of proton. Okay, so you get what I mean. Or you can say the number of proton is lesser than number of electron. It is the same thing, okay? It's the same thing, okay? Electron more than proton, or you want to say proton less than electron, is the same thing. Up to you lah, what you want to write. That's why the science most important thing is to understand, not memorize. If you memorize, then you blah 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 memorize. But when the question twists, then you question mark what is to understand why proton, because why positive, because proton more than electron. So you form your definition. The definition is because the number of proton is lesser than number of proton electron. So you can do lah when you understand easiest. Biology is more to memorize, or maybe sejarah is memorized, correct or not? But for science, I think it's more on, some need to memorize lah, but I think more towards understand and how you want to use it in life. That's why nowadays they ask a lot of K-bar question, because they want to teach you how to use in life, not just to learn from the book. Explain particle is neutral. Why is it neutral? Which particle is neutral? So we can see neutral is P. So P is neutral. P is neutral. Why neutral? Because the number of proton and number of electron is the same. Up to you. Okay, number of proton equal to number of electron. You like lah what you want to write. You like as long as you say that they are the same, then you get the correct answer. Okay, I hope you can understand. Let's move on to the next question. So let's move to the next question before we take a short break. The table 2 show the formation of an ion. So now we want to make a formation of ion from bromine, which is 0 charge. Eventually, the bromine will become negatively charged. Hey, where's my highlighter? So we can say that the bromine is negatively charged. Okay, so at last the bromine will become negatively charged. If I want to write out, I will write Br negative, because either I will write 2 negative or 3 negative, but I see here -1, so I just write negative. Again, negative means -1 lah. That's why they just write Br negative rather than Br -1, because nothing means 1 lah. We also can see this sodium is positive. They don't say positive 1 because positive means don't write means 1 lah. And negative, you also can see that Cl negative means it is -1. So where was the question? So this is Br -1 because here, why Br -1? It gain electron or it lose electron. So you think lah, this one 35, then this one 36. So this one I just write here first, gain electron. Correct or not? Because you can see that here 35, then suddenly it will become here 36. So it gain electron, so it become negatively charged. So this is roughly that we know about this diagram. Let's look at the question. How many electrons are lost or gained by the bromine in the formation of ion X?
Or gained by the bromine atom in the formation of ion X.
You cannot say lost or gain. I mean, you must say either choose one only. Then you say like that, you get 0 lor, because you say two answer ma. Choose one only. How many electrons are... Okay, when we look at the question, that's why when people ask us question in terms of politics or debate, first thing we want to check is, first, the question is correct or wrong, the presupposition of the question. For example, the person can say, let's say a question, I give you a question. This is more philosophical bit. Can God be, God is all powerful? Then you will say, yes, God is all powerful. Then the next question I want to ask, if God is so powerful, can He make a stone so big that He cannot move? Can God make a stone so big that He cannot move? Because He's God ma, so He can make anything. So now He want to make a stone that is so big that He cannot move. But if I am to reply, I will say your question is wrong, because the presupposition of the question is first you say premise 1. That's why the mathematics are premise 1. Premise 1, you say God is most powerful. Premise 2, you say that God can make anything because God is more powerful. And then premise 3, you say that God can make a rock that is so big that He cannot take. So when you say that God can make a rock that He cannot take, this premise 3 is contradicting to premise 1. So the presupposition of the question is wrong. You cannot make that question because the question itself, it is inconsistent. But of course, we study PT3, the question is always correct. First, when people ask you a question, now you think first the question is correct or wrong. Second thing, one question got how many questions? This is the question that you need to know. This question got how many questions? Okay, the question, actually this one question got 2 questions. First question, they ask you how many electrons? So you already answer 1. The next question it asks, the electron is gained or lost? So I say that, so you can say how many electrons. Maybe the first answer is 1 electron. The second answer, I would say that it is gain electron. Okay, so maybe I just combine the two together. Okay, 1 electron is gain. So this is the answer. But if you look properly, this question is actually 2 question, but it give 1 mark lah. So when we read carefully. Explain your answer in 4A. The number of electrons increase by 1. Increase by 1. Because it can be increased by 2, increased by 3. But increase is correct. Name ion X that is formed and write a symbol. Okay, so the answer for this one will be bromine ion, bromine negatively charged 1. Very good. So yeah, that's it. I teach until here and I see you again. Bye bye.